Welcome to Just the Who of Us, hosted by Rhea Higgs. This is a space for honest, thoughtful conversations around mental health, life journeys, holistic wellnesses, and the experiences that shape who we are. Take a breath, settle in, and join Rhea and today's guests as we explore the stories that connect us.
Today's interview is, I haven't said who exactly it is yet. I've been posting questions, asking, for questions in this scenario, but I haven't said exactly who I will be interviewing. A few people know who it is just because they know me and they knew when I posted the general scenario who it referred to. But not everybody does. So if you've been following us on Facebook and YouTube, you've seen portions of this interview in Reels, but you haven't seen the entire interview yet, and you will today. So I'm finally done stringing you along, keeping you in anticipation. Today is the day that you will get to hear and see it all. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you. Like, subscribe, share, and all the things so that you can continue to see more of these interviews. As someone pointed out while I was live on Facebook doing this interview, my face is the teller of tales. So if you're watching, you can see these facial cues that I have. I get this kind of like tick with my eye. My nose does a thing. So you can kind of see my emotions a little bit more. If you are just listening, you don't get to see those facial cues. So you should probably follow us on YouTube so that you get the full effect. Now, just the Who of Us on YouTube, same name as the podcast. Just the Who of Us on YouTube. If you'd like to see all the things and be able to read my face as I give this interview. I appreciate everybody who asked questions. Thank you for the questions. And thank you to the person that I'm interviewing for the opportunity to have this conversation and to give this interview. I feel like it's going to be a really big one. So without further ado, here we go. With us, we have my eldest son's father, Frederick. A lot of you probably know of Fred, unless you're his family or my family. Outside of that, you probably only know him from the negative things that I've said. If you don't know him personally, you know him through me. And yeah. So Fred is here today to talk about the past 23, 24 years of being a parent, being a absent parent, being a present parent, going through these different motions. I'm just going to put it out there. Most of you know, if you know either one of us personally, you know, we haven't always had the best relationship. And today's, it's going to be a little emotional. It's a little emotional for me. And I'm not even in the place that I used to be of this kind of angry state. We'll get to this kind of path in a little bit, but I think today was a good point to do this interview because had you come to me 5 years ago, a year ago, and said, "Hey, I want to talk about this," I probably would have been like, there's no way, no way. But I'm glad you did, and here we are. My point here is to talk about things, work through things, as much as we, can in one conversation. But put your story out there, put my story out there. People who know me, a lot of people who listen to this probably already know my side of the story. But as we know, there's two sides. And that's kind of what we're here to do. If you know my story, you're here to hear his also, to hear us talk it out. We're not going to fight. We're past all that, but it'll be emotional. So thank you for watching or listening if you're listening. And let's go. So, Fred, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Have you listened to the podcast? Tell me kind of what kind of brought you to here where you were like, hey, I want to talk about this on your podcast.
Well, I haven't really heard the podcast. I've been um, still going through my grieving moment with my mom getting killed. It's been 2 months now, so it's really kind of hard. So I felt like at this point in my life that everything should come out. I think that everyone should know like what happened back then, 23 years ago or 24 years ago. And I mean, I'm ready to come up clean. Um, no lies, nothing like that. Just put that out there on the table.
Yeah, 24 years ago. So I have ADHD, my memory shit. There are things in life that I don't remember. Sometimes my reference of time is off. So correct me if I'm wrong. If you have a better memory of certain things, correct me if I'm wrong. So about 24 years ago, maybe a little bit before, we met on a chat line.
Right.
We meet on this chat line. I was 13 at the time, 14.
Yeah, 13 going on 14, I believe.
And you were how old?
20.
20. So we meet on this chat. I lied about my age to make myself older, obviously, because I was an idiot and, whatever the case may be. So that's one thing too, that people in my world defend me in that case. So I'm 13. We're on this chat. You're 20. I said I think I said I was like 18. How old
Yeah,
did you say that you were?
I said at my age at the time. I was about 20, 19, 20.
So my time of reference. So I'm 13, 14 on this chat where I had no business being. We're chatting. We decide to meet at the movie theater, I think.
Yeah, we met at AMC.
So we meet at the movie theater, right? So this is my perspective, and I want to get your perspective too, because that's why we're here, to get both parties. So we meet at this movie theater. You want to take the story from there?
Yeah, we agreed to meet at the movie theater. It's on Friday night, and you had one of your good friends with you at the moment, and we were going to watch a movie. But I had funny thing was I had worked in after I got fired or whatever, so they said I could come in there and stuff. So I was like, what in the world? So we didn't really get to hang out at that time or whatever. Like much. We got to talk here and there, but you was a lot shy, and I was shy at the time too, because it was like first time meeting in person.
Yeah. So we meet on this chat line. I'm 13, you're 20, and I initially did lie about my age. How old did I say I was? Did I say I was 18?
Yeah, you say you was 18.
Because you had to be 18 to be on the chat. So one of the things that, I polled these questions on Facebook. One of the things that people wanted to know was what made you pursue a younger girl? So initially on this chat meeting, I say that I'm older. My defense has always been, my defense kind of to you has always been, well, I lied about my age. I said that I was older. Everyone in my corner's response is always like, but once he met this 13-year-old and he could tell that she was a kid and not an 18-year-old, why keep going? So I want to hear that from you. From your perspective, once we met, things start coming out, that I'm not this old, I'm really this age and whatnot. Why? Like, why stay around? Why continue to pursue this person that's much younger?
Well, it's not like how um R. Kelly and Aaliyah, rest her soul, thing or whatever. Um, like we talk, and was this going on for months, and then I believe I don't know how, but your mom ended up telling me your real age. So, and that was over the phone, and it took me a while to process it, and I was like, well, when I saw you at the movie theater, I didn't. I mean, I kind of figured you was that age, whatever. I mean, you was same height as I was at the time, being, and I mean, we looked young back then. It was what 99, 98. So I was like, okay. Then I don't know. I was like, okay, let me see where it would go from there and stuff with us having a big age thing, because you was still maturing and I was still maturing also at the time, but I was also alone too. I mean, I had family and stuff, but I was just still alone. We needed that love and that person and stuff, just to be there. So you always kept you're very comfort, very laid back and chill. So I just wanted to just stick around and go from there or whatever.
So excuse me. So finding out at the point that you found out about my real age, had we yet been physically intimate?
I know I asked you, I think a couple times, have you had intercourse, and I believe you said no at the time. I'm not quite sure about that. And I mean, we wasn't constantly, talking about it because it wasn't brought up a lot. So we had agreed to make plans to come over to your house, and one thing led to another, and we had intercourse.
So so I guess the question, and I think the question that people have or will have, um, so you find out the age, you find out this person is this much younger, and then still decide to pursue a sexual relationship. Um, why? That's what people are asking. That's what people are gonna ask. Why? Why still pursue that?
It didn't cross my mind. I didn't think nothing about it because you was, like I said before, you was mature. I probably should have thought about it a little bit more with 7 year age difference. And like I said, you was just starting high school or about to start high school at the moment. And I don't know, at the time my vibe was really good and stuff. So
So I've in this regard, through the years, I've tried to make sure to take my accountability, right? Because no one, I mean, I would lose my shit if one of my 13, 14-year-old daughters was sexually active. Like, it's not acceptable to me. And no offense to my mom, not to take anything away from her parenting or anything like that, obviously. Um, but I take accountability for that because no 13, 14-year-old has any business being sexually active. A lot of people have said to me, however, you have this 20-20-year-old man pursuing you. And when you're that much older to essentially influence a teenager, a teenage girl to become sexually active with you, a lot of people put that on the older person. I try to defend that. I've tried to defend it over the years just because, we have a child together. I wouldn't go back in time and take that child away. But it is something that most people address to me. Part of our purpose for being here today is to tell the story, to tell your side of the story. And also I've been trying to work over the years on my personal growth, on taking accountability for my own stuff. But I do have to say that if my 14-year-old daughter came to me and was like, yeah, I'm sexually active with a 20-year-old man, I'd blame him. I do give you recognition for taking accountability. I'm I'm a little hot right now. The conversation, this is, what I was saying earlier. It's an emotional, I don't know if you can see, it's an emotional conversation. But yeah, accountability, you are taking accountability. I was in bed last night and I'm just thinking about different things with my own father, with my, the kids' fathers, and nothing about this conversation is going to change the past. I got really emotional last night, just that, like about the fact that like it's been 23 years and not one thing about the past can be changed. It's painful. But there's also been some mental health things for you involved. And I can imagine that, and I know that you've acknowledged the things that you've done, your absences and your mistakes, I imagine are painful for you too. I don't want to take away from the mistakes that were made, but I also do want to commend you for taking accountability and for being willing to sit in the hot seat and know, this person who, because I'm still angry. I'm going to be honest, I'm still angry about a lot of things, but my anger doesn't change anything. So I appreciate you being here to be in the hot seat and answer these tough questions. And we just got started. So I knew this conversation was going to be kind of emotional for me. And I am kind of all over the place. Like, I spent a lot of time being angry, right? Like, there was a point where I was angry. I didn't even talk to you. I would maybe talk to Christina. You kind of like stopped talking to me because every time we had a conversation, it was me bitching and being angry. And so you were like, okay, you can just talk to her because I don't want to deal with it. And to kind of be at the point now where like we're sitting down and we're having this conversation. it's really great. So I am still angry about a lot of stuff, but I'm trying not to be. And I think talking about this
The
is
thing, the
really
thing
helpful.
is grieving, anger, and emotional feelings don't have no limitation.
Yeah.
It don't take. It don't happen overnight. It don't happen months, years. It takes a while, and
Yeah.
sometimes you can take it to the grave and stuff, and not forgiving somebody.
Yeah.
I understand and I respect that.
Yeah. So I mentioned that I was laying in my bed last night and I'm thinking, this is just full transparency here. So I'm laying in my bed last night and I'm like, I've had kids with three different men. And I'm like, what am I doing wrong that shit just not doesn't go the way that I thought it would? You know what I mean? Like, and it's not just you, obviously, because I have kids with more than one person, but I'm like I'm the common denominator here. I can't get people to do over the years. I can't just get people to do like what the fuck I feel like they're supposed to do. Maybe is it my expectations? My father wasn't like active in my life since I was little. So do I have these expectations of like they're too high because I don't really know what the expectations should be? I don't know. Like I said, that's it, it wasn't even really like specific to you, but I was just like sometimes it's kind of like what the fuck is wrong with me that I just
No, you can't do that because look, I can relate to that because I have the same thing as you. I have three kids, but three, you and two others, and it's like, well, dang, I didn't want to be like that. I just wanted to have kids by one person and grow the family and everything. My dad's stationed in Charlotte, not too far from me and stuff, whatever. And I barely barely see him, barely hear from him. I even try to reach out to him and text, and sometimes it'll go um to my older brother, and he'll relate something else to me and whatever. So I'm like, well, dang. But my mom, she always been there, and she's always support me and stuff or whatever, good or bad. She'll give me a handful. But I don't think you did anything wrong. I mean, things happen. We're not perfect. We're not made to be perfect. I mean, we try our best every single day to be perfect, especially for our kids and stuff. We not gonna be perfect. Now, kids, the ones that do love you and love us, they understand. They see things or whatever stuff, and hopefully they can relate with that and carry on with their life whenever you cross over. So
yeah. It's just that, time passes and it's this realization of really how you just can't go back and change the past. It makes it kind of more apparent of how important it is to navigate and grow in your current and your future. You know, I, I've I've seen that with you specifically. Uh, I don't know the ins and outs of your relationships with the other kids, but I do know that since this big thing happened with your own household, which we'll briefly touch on, um, I've seen this consistency in you of trying to reconcile and do things differently to cater to these relationships with your kids. The kids aren't kids anymore, but it's like, okay, the past is the past and I can't change that, but I'm going to try to make sure that I'm here in the present and in the future, which I think is really important because I also thought about the fact that, like my father's not here. Same with your mom. You guys had a good relationship, luckily, so there wasn't and there may have been, but there wasn't any apparent like unresolved issues. You know what I mean? Like, my father is gone and there's no reconciling that relationship. It's just it's gone. So I am glad that DeAndre doesn't have to go through that now that he, that you're present and giving the opportunity to not end on a bad note. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I try my best, I try to reach out. I got five, um, three stays here with me, and Dee's up there with you, and Gabby stays 3 hours away. So I'm constantly trying my best. I still have things I have to take care of, like especially with this going on, my grieving moment and stuff. So I make time for the teens and adults. That's my main priority of my life right now is them. And then under that, everything has to come together.
Yeah.
It was a year and a half ago that I got diagnosed with depression or whatever. But to be honest with you, I think something traumatic happened to me at a younger age, and I never got the help for it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I always felt alone growing up. Like it was just me and stuff. But yeah, I had my older brother, I had my mom, I had my stepdad, and then my little brother came along, but I was still doing things on my own. So I mean, those nights I was just in my room, just chilling, or I just want to be alone or whatever. I didn't want to deal with nobody, and just chill. But
Yeah.
yeah, I've been through the depression for a good little while, and I try to, I guess, cover it up, doing fun things, doing things not in my mind or whatever, not even trying to think about anything. So,
Yeah.
but now I'm getting help for it.
One of the questions that I was asked um after what made you pursue a younger girl, what made you decide after this young girl becomes pregnant, what made you decide that you didn't want to be an active father? Was it something you decided or it just happened for this or that reason? What was the reason that once you became a father with our child, that you at some point decided to step away from that?
Well, at the time I was working, and then I finally got on at FedEx, and I know almost every day after work I was coming out to see you with DeAndre, and we was talking about the financial part of taking care of him, and we agreed on a payment. I can't remember how much it was or whatever, and then I think I think um
I'm sorry, can you say that last part again? Because I accidentally muted it.
no, you good. I can't remember what I said. But just
So you were working at FedEx, you were working every day, and you would typically come by after to see us, and then
yeah. Then I came after that. I can't remember, but I think I had those couple of hours, and I think I ended up quitting FedEx, so I didn't have the money or whatever, and we had went to court for child support, and it was actually more than what we had agreed on. And I remember I was just throwing out the door because I was so upset at the judge and stuff. I was upset that y'all was upset at the judge because I felt like the judge was being an asshole at the time. And yeah, I think y'all have said like, only way I'll be able to see DeAndre if I do my payments and stuff. And and I didn't have the job or had any funds or whatever, so I didn't go around or even attempt to call or whatever unless I had any funds or anything to help out, like diapers, milk, or anything at the time. So it was stupid on me that just not to reach out or even attempt to say, hey, I'm checking on him or checking on y'all and see how y'all doing and stuff.
So it became this kind of like, I think that's what the frustration was for me. And it lasted over the years. Well, if I can't do this, then I'm just gonna stay away, right? And in retrospect, there's certain things that I would have done differently. There's things that I did with my ex-husband financially that I think worked better and would have worked better. Child support's a whole nother conversation because it's, whatever. But that was definitely a thing. Well, if I can't do this, I'm just gonna stay away. And that was my frustration for a long time, was like, just be present. Like, yes, I expect you to get a job, to take care of the things that your child needs, because that's an equal responsibility. But being present is also a huge part of being a parent. And that that's something that frustrated me a lot for a long time. I spent a lot of time probably hindering that relationship because there was a period where I only really reached out to you to like bitch, you know. Um, and I felt like I was in the right at the time because I was like, well, you're not here. So like, what are you doing? Like, you need to know how I feel and I'm gonna tell you. And then it just creates this cycle of, well, I don't want to come around if all you're gonna do is be angry. And then me, this cycle of, then I'm angry because you're not here, and then you're angry because I'm upset, and whatever, and it causes this kind of ripple in the parenting to where both people are mad, and then absolutely nothing is resolved because everybody's just angry. I feel like you should do this, you feel like I should do this or not do this, and whatever. And that's part of the issue when you become a parent so young too. Like, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. And I know, older people becoming parents, they don't know what they're doing a lot of times too, but having a kid when you're still a kid, or having a kid with someone who's still a kid, it it's just not it, it's kind of a setup for unsuccess. um I don't recommend it. So if you're a kid thinking about having sex, I don't recommend it. I wouldn't take my son back, obviously, but anyway, it's just one of those things. There was this cycle. So the cycle, well, if I can't do this, so I'm gonna stay away. Well, you should still be present. We go back and forth and back and forth. And then time passes to where nothing happens. And who gets hurt? The kid. Tell me a little bit about your relationship with him as a kid. He was probably about, what, 3 or 4 years old when we really stopped talking. There wasn't much communication. I didn't bring him over much anymore. I think it was about 3 to 4 years old.
Yeah. Um, I think I think I went into depression. With this, it always crossed my mind. I mean, because I have like a picture and I just look and I just sometimes I bust out just crying and stuff. Um, I have family like, don't you have a son? When you haven't seen him? well, the court is like, no, I don't want to do all that. I just want to see my son or whatever. But it hurt. Uh, it still hurts to this day. Seeing, I remember going over there picking him up a couple of years ago, and I seen, his baby pictures and pictures, but he was just, a couple of age here and there that I wasn't there, and I had my head down because I should have been there. I mean, my dad wasn't there, and I always say I want to do better than what my dad did, and I felt like I let D down, felt like I let you down. Um, that's one of the most important things in my life. I wish I could have turned around, that being a full dad to D than just oh, pop up here and there, or years later here and there. And no, I should have been there. I mean, it's you know, regardless of how we felt about each other, it was more about him. Our feelings should have been pushed aside, and then let's based everything on him and stuff,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But I didn't discuss it, and you're right. Like I didn't want to hear no fuss, no bitching, or nothing. I was just like, okay, I'm gonna stay away, even though it hurts me and stuff or whatever. But the time that I did have him was just like I had him on the weekends sometime, and like my whole weekend was like to the time I got up to the time we went to bed, just spending time with him, taking him around family and stuff, and then showing everybody.
So it it becomes this kind of ego contest, right? Like our parenting becomes kind of put on the back burner, and our ego comes forefront, and that's what makes us make the decisions. Um, I have this question. Really, there's a two other people that I have this question for, but you're the one here, so you're the one that gets to answer the question. And quite frankly, time heals things. I'm not as angry about it because of the fact that I can't change it. But it's still something that I harbor anger for, right? Because it is what it is. What is it that says, okay, well, I have these kids and it's kind of okay to just put them on the back burner. I have these kids, but then I have this going on in my life. I'm this, whatever. Like moms, okay, not necessarily moms. Active parents don't get to do this. But we don't get to just, oh, you know what? I got stuff going on in life. I'm gonna take a step back and I don't feel like being here. I don't feel like doing this, whatever. Like why? What makes that a thing? To be just like I have other things going on in life. It's okay to take time away to do this. Like the active parents, we don't get that. I have to be a parent every single day for the past 23 years, every single day, whether I'm depressed, whether I'm tired, whether I don't have a car. I mean, there was a point where I didn't have a car, still had to get shit done every single day. What is that? Like what makes that a thing? To just is it because the kid doesn't live in the house with you, or what is that? And like I said, it's not a personal attack at you, but you're the one here, so you're the one that gets to answer the question. What is it that the inactive parent gets to say, okay, well, I've got this going on, it'll be fine, they'll be fine, or whatever the thought process is? let me ask you this.
I mean,
So
it's,
this
it's
is
not
a
fun or
comment.
whatever.
Somebody
And
commented on the live. I feel like
it
since
wasn't
they
like
think
I
the
was
active
putting
parent is
them on
doing
what's
what they
the
see
back
is a good
burner.
job and just lose
I
sight
mean,
of
I
what they
can
should be doing.
just
So
sit at the house and
is it that
and think
it
and
is
just
that
let it
or
all suck up or whatever. I
was or
had to keep
is
moving
that the
around and
case?
stuff.
And like I said, this
But
is only your
unfortunately,
personal
I end up
perspective.
just
So this doesn't mean that this is the
finding
thought process of
someone else,
everyone.
and then
But is that
dating
was
here and
that the
there,
case?
then
Because
having
I understand where this person's
another
coming from, and I
child,
kind of
then
feel like
another child,
that's just the thing. And
this, and
absent fathers, absent mothers,
it was
it's like,
I don't know.
okay, well,
Like I said,
the
it's
active
not
parent,
right.
the person that the kid lives with,
And
like
like I
they're
said
good.
before, I should have been there.
So the kid will be
I mean,
okay.
he's always number
You know what I
one.
mean?
He's still gonna be number
Is
one.
that
He's
kind
my
of like
first.
when you're in that,
I think at the I
is that
think
the
at the
thought
time being
process?
there,
Or is it just
I was
not, and
alone,
it's just like, I just
and
don't want to
I
do it
wanted somebody
because
what's
of
name. So
this that I have going on in my personal life.
he came around.
But
No,
people say
I
that though.
want to
And
do it, but mentally
well,
I want to do
this
it.
happened,
Financial is
and I
like,
wasn't there,
you
but
know,
this kid was
a
still number
child's not
one.
cheap.
But
I
how
mean,
is that the
it's
case
something
if
I
that
signed up
kid
for,
isn't made a
so
priority?
I
How
should
is
have been
that
there. I mean,
kid
it's
still
a
number
big,
one if
huge
they
regret that I'm
aren't
never
a
going to get
factor
over.
in your
I
daily
mean,
life?
as much as I could say I'm sorry, and all that. It was, I'm sorry. I mean, I know y'all struggle. Change the past and stuff. Don't change. I had somewhere not being there, stay, but for somebody, I didn't have a job
Yeah.
at the time. I forgave my dad for not being there and stuff, but I'm a forgiving person. A lot of things built up and stuff. It still hurts me, but me being selfish, I want to live life anybody without regrets, but I'm lying to myself. I mean, I hate it. I hate not being there for DeAndre, not being there for you and stuff. I mean, the years, we could have Steve or Mike just come by, or I just go over their house. I swear, I would like just to get out. Back to the Future, go back in time and change that really friend left back then. Just hey, let's go to here and stuff. I'm probably in a different boat now and stuff, whatever. Probably not, having kids by like three women and stuff, but I mean, it's life. It's a learning experience and stuff, and I'm still learning each and every day. At 44, I'm still learning life myself.
Another question that somebody had, why do this? And you kind of answered that question a little bit just now, because you are, regretful of past decisions, and why do this? So there's a point where, how long ago was this? Was it last year? Maybe DeAndre wanted to meet up with you. We meet up at the farmer's market with you and Christina. Was that last year?
I don't think so. I don't know. I don't remember. Oh, the flea market.
Yeah,
It was this year.
It was this year, like early this year.
Yeah, it was in March. It was on his birthday.
So DeAndre asked me, hey, can you take me up to the flea market to see my dad? And at this point, I don't think we had any conversations, I mean, in years, at this point. Was the flea market first, or him? No, the flea market was first. So we go in the flea market, and I just took him. I was like, all right, whatever, I'll take you, and I'll just wait in the car, or I'll walk around, or whatever the case may be. I had no intention on having conversations really, or anything like that. And I also hadn't been talking to Christina in a long time either, because I spent a lot of time angry at her for not making you do what you were supposed to. Which, in retrospect, I don't know how realistic that is, because you can't make a person do what they don't want to do. I was angry at her as the wife for not making you do what you were supposed to do, and for staying with someone who wasn't doing what they were supposed to do as a parent. So it was almost too kind of like, well, I didn't talk to you and I didn't get along with you, so I couldn't like take that out on you. I feel like it may have been a little bit too of, well, she's here to listen, so I can't get it to you, so it's gonna go to her and maybe go to you, and you know, whatever. um, you and DeAndre didn't talk for a long time or see each other consistently for years either. Until he got on enough to where he could, kind of decide that he wanted to see you or talk to you or whatever. I don't 100% know. I mean, he talks to me about a lot of stuff, but I don't 100% know what the relationship was like between the two of you leading up to the flea market kind of reconciliation-ish point. Fill me in a little bit on that. How was because at one point I stepped back and I'm like, you know what? I don't want anything to do with this anymore. I don't want to, whatever. I'm angry. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to interact with you. He can have at it. What was that relationship like with the two of you between like that point?
It was at the time it was good. He his siblings they loved him. They liked his company. Um, he I remember one night he pulled me to the side and he was we had a one-on-one conversation where he was telling me stuff that he wanted me to be healthy. He needed me to stay alive, and that's all that mattered. Whatever he needed me to be in his life, and I said, okay. He said, look at me. He said he mean it. He said, I don't want anything in life besides you being alive and healthy. And I said, I would do my very best. But I was still like struggling financial stuff, whatever. So I know I gave him a jacket one night. He had spent the night, or he had came over, and we always make sure he had we gave him food to eat and or food to take back with him because we didn't want him leaving empty handed and stuff. So um, I don't know. I felt like it was a good relationship. I mean, even though it wasn't consistent, but it was points we got in the game and we talked on the game, and I felt very honored. He was like, "Hey, this is my father," and that right there, that means a lot to me and stuff. I mean, meeting his friends. I mean, yeah, we online, but that was an honor. I mean, he said, "Hey, this is my father," because I never heard it besides one time that I was a sperm donor. Like, not from your end, but from another end, past relationship.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's not even like that and stuff, whatever. So, I mean, I understand. I mean, that's guys out there that's hit and run, and you never hear from them. But no, that's not me. I mean, don't say that.
My mom, and don't hate me for putting this out there, mom. But that's the nickname my mom had for you for most of this existence. Since he was about three or four, and things kind of became gapped between the two of us. Um, that's the nickname that I don't know if she ever called you it to your face, but that was the nickname that she had for most of his childhood. Um,
She never addressed it to me in my face or whatever, and I can understand her point of view for me not being a father because she wanted me to be in his life too. I mean, after she found out, my age and stuff, and you know, I am grateful. I mean, it could have got worse. I could have went to jail, for statutory rape, having sex with a minor. But no, your mom didn't do it. I'm very grateful for her doing it. I never told her that and stuff, and I know I told her thank you, but I probably still be locked up or whatever, probably for that now. So,
Other members of my family wanted that to be the case. Um, but my mom never did because she said, well, if you're in jail, you can't be a father. And so she made that choice not to do that. Um, because that was her mindset. If I send this man to jail, even regardless of my feelings of whether he should be there or not, if I send him to jail, he can't be a parent. So, um, I mean, I'm grateful that she didn't because that is true. You know, although there were years of absence, had you been in jail, there wouldn't have. I don't know. I don't. As me being in the situation, I don't think that would have been a good solution. But honestly, if it were my daughter, I don't know that I feel the same way. Which leads me to another question someone had. Um, how would you feel if one of your daughters were to get pregnant by an older man, were to become sexually involved with an older man and or get pregnant by an older man? How would you feel about the situation? How would you handle that?
um, they know my situation. They know about Dean. I didn't sugarcoat anything. I don't believe I think any parent should sugarcoat anything. I think they should be honest with their child at a point of their life where you feel like they're more mature and more understanding of what happened. Um,
Yeah. I think it yeah, maturity level plays a part. Yeah, I agree with that.
but that's rough because I couldn't, I can. Thing is, I couldn't judge because it's like, well, you did it, and it wasn't a mistake. That's the thing. It's like I did it. I did it. It was like I had chances to walk away. I didn't walk away and stuff, and one thing led to the next. It'd be, I mean, it would have been rough. Thank God, like one of my daughters about to be 19, and the other one, she's not. She has a boyfriend, or she's in the guy, but I mean, she's young. She's like 15, but I don't know. It's really hard because I wouldn't want that to happen, but um, I don't know. How about them tell them no, and I had to explain reason a really really good reason why not to. Um, cause it's a you, thing is you gotta have chemistry. There has to be like a vibe there, but with the age gap, like say for instance, like if there's a 20-year age gap, like well, you have somebody, you have a child at the same age as the person you're dating, like what are you trying to do and stuff or whatever. I mean, what do you have in common besides sex?
Yeah.
I mean, but mentally think whatever, you're a parent, you got kids that age, so why would you pursue somebody that age, whatever, and they still developing, you know?
Yeah. Um, um, is that is that is that because your daughters are older now? Like, say if somebody would have asked you that question 10 years ago when they were younger, do you think that your answer would be different? Or do you think that just because of your own life experience, the answer would be the same regardless?
10 years ago, um, I I probably would have had Lucille and probably ready to go to town and stuff, whatever, because I would have said hell with that. No, hell no. Who's the damn person and stuff, whatever. Why they doing this and that.
Mhm.
And they would have, I mean, seen a side of me that it wouldn't been too pretty or whatever. But it's like I can't. At the end of the day, I can't really judge. But it is what it is. I don't know.
Yeah. So let's go a little bit into, okay, so reconciliation, a kind of start to a reconciliation point. A kind of start to a reconciliation point or path for the two of us, because it's really kind of a new thing. I mean, for the better part of 23 years, we haven't had a good relationship, if there was any kind of relationship at all. So there was a kind of recent beginning to the reconciliation path. And I think that it started, really the farmers market thing started, because before then, I didn't talk to you. I didn't talk to Christina. Like I said, I had this anger toward her for not, quote unquote, making you do what you were supposed to. Um, and we go to the farmers market. I take him up there and, meet with you guys, and, just kind of polite chat. I honestly, I didn't go with any intentions of any kind of real conversation. I was just like, oh, whatever, I'm going to take my son up here, and I'll just be there. We have kind of casual, polite conversation. And I remember Christina like puts this like necklace on me, and I still have it. Um, and I don't know about anybody else, but I feel like, because it kind of reminded me of this brief but simple reconciliation that I had with my father. Just kind of like this small little symbolic exchange that was kind of like, you know what? Let's just let's just be done. Let's just be done with the anger, with the animosity, let's let go of the grudge, and try to start doing better. Um so that kind of, for me, started the path. And then um you know is do you want to say anything about that kind of, uh before I move on to the kind of next point of kind of reconciliation?
Well, I remember you was at the flea market and you just, you know, you sit just hanging back or whatever, And we'll talk to DeAndre. Then I came up to you and we started having a general conversation, and we were just talking here and there. Y'all saw the our inventory stuff, and Christine always been a giving person, and I remember when she gave you that necklace and stuff, and at the end of the day, um, we didn't. I know we didn't want to have no issues or no beef or anything with you or whatever. Um, like I said, everything's for D. Um, yeah, I mean, I remember that. I remember the necklace she gave you and stuff, and y'all was just chilling down. And I do appreciate y'all coming up there too because um, I know he when he really wants something, he had to beg or he was like, "Well, see, mom gonna come take me. How mom gonna take me?" Then I was like, "Well, how far are y'all?" Or whatever stuff. I was like, "We still up here." It's like, "Oh, we coming, I'm coming." So
Yeah, I was reluctant. I was, but I'm glad that we did. I'm glad that he got to see you guys. I'm glad that we had that experience. Um, Fast forward a little bit. uh, So I don't want to talk a lot about your relationship with Christina because I'm an outside person. I know what she's told me, I know what you've told me, I know what I've heard from other people. But I'm not in this relationship, so I try not to judge it uh too harshly. I mean, I have my opinions of the way certain things have gone, but that's just my human opinion, and I try not to be too like personal with it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's not my relationship. So uh you can just, you could talk about that as much as you would like. Just know that I'm neutral. I'm not taking anybody's side. Um, Preferably don't say, too much to bash her because she's not here to defend herself. But if you want to generally talk about the situations that occurred between the flea market meetup and leading up to your arrest and following that to kind of the funeral and now asking about being on the podcast and wanting to put yourself out there and tell your side of things, in regards to him, in regards to your personal life, however much you want to tell me leading up to the arrest and the funeral and everything.
all right. So I was working.
Oh, hold on one second. Oh, okay, go ahead.
All right, so I was working at IHOP, and we still I was doing like the flea market. Plus, was doing marketplace on Facebook, selling things, and we our food stamp was low. So I remember going to Rock Hill, got some free stuff, whatever. Took it back and sold it up here. And that okay, the Wednesday.
So tell me about. Oh,
That Wednesday, I was on my medication for like 3 weeks or whatever. My medication for depression. So that Wednesday, I was just fed up or whatever at work. 'Cause people was hounding me. I was making money, and the same thing with that Thursday. So Friday came, and I sold the drum set. I went and got food, cigarettes, and came back to the house. She asked me for a cigarette, and I said, you got to work for it. I was just joking around about it, and I don't know. It was like, I don't know. I was just so angry and just tired because I felt like, I'm doing my part of the deal or whatever stuff. And next thing you know, I forget what exactly happened, but I said something like, "Oh, this feel like slavery." But I was just saying this, be saying that stuff, whatever. Then she had to repeat what I said, and I threw a picture of chicken at her and told her to get the fuck out of my face. And she got up and went outside. Michaela came out the bathroom and stated, she was like, leave her alone. It's like, who you talking to? She's like, I'm talking to you. So I threw like some cans at her, not intentionally trying to hit her and stuff, whatever. And then
Can
I went
you
up.
can you specify for people who don't know who Michaela is?
Michaela is my youngest daughter. She's the youngest between Christina and I. And I like she's small, whatever. But I mean, not like Hadi is, but I pushed her, and there's a little cushion right there, and she fell down on it, and she threw a fist up at me like she about to punch me, so I barely like smacked her and stuff, whatever. And then we both looked shocked, and then I was shocked myself. I went and sat down to try to cool off or whatever stuff, and Christina asked Michaela to come outside. 10 minutes later, the cops came. I told them the exact same story, and they arrested me for assault on a female and um, assault on child support. I mean, not child support, child abuse or whatever. So
Assault on a minor?
yeah,
Yeah.
so I got locked up for 5 months. No, I actually had got out a week, but I was going back to the house to get my charger for my phone. That it wasn't a cord; it was like a brick or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Because I ain't had no money, I have anything. And so there was a restraining order that she had put out on me, so they had rearrested me after I just had got out. Then I spent a whole 5 months locked up or whatnot. Excuse me. And I had got out a week and a half after I got out. My mom got shot and killed in North Charlotte. They robbed her, and took her vehicle, just left her for dead. And I got the phone call that's Saturday morning, and it just, you know, she always been there for me, and she's always in my corner. She always wanted me to do good in life or whatever. It was real hard for her to see the bad in me because she knew I was in trouble. She knew that things tricking me to get me upset, and people was pushing my button to get me upset and stuff. Cause she knew I always stick by myself or whatever. So we buried her. Um, it's still like a grieving moment. It's I have like little flashbacks or little, I guess, episodes of I want to know what happened and why they did it. Cause my mom, she never bothered nobody. it it angers me, but that's the flesh of me. That's not my soul or whatever. And I try to think more with my soul than my flesh. And
I remember when DeAndre got the phone call about your mom. Um, we were in the car. I had just parked to meet my mom, and he gets a phone call and just like loses it. And we're like, what happened? What happened? And he told us at this point there wasn't a ton of information. It was just my grandma was robbed. They stole her car and killed her and left her. Um, and like we were all shocked. Like what is what? Like it's kind of one of those things where you like almost don't believe it because it's so insane. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Um, like yeah, he lost it, rightfully so. I mean, your mom and I, we we didn't we didn't have a bad relationship. We didn't have much of a relationship, because we did you and I didn't have much of one, so she and I didn't have much of one. She was fairly consistent in DeAndre's life though. And even for me, it was like, what? Like it was crazy. Yeah. It was crazy. Like and for weeks. I mean, even still now, there's not like a ton of the information we would like to have is still not here. Like this person who did this thing being where they belong. We don't even know who it is still, right? They still
right.
don't know who it is. We have theories, and I even have a theory because just things that I was told. Um, there's a theory, but yeah, the person who did it has still not been caught. So
It's two. It's actually it's two guys, and they have leads. I guess they almost had got them at one point, but they had a mask on, so that kind of was a little. There was a pushback.
yeah,
I could tell you that or whatever, cause we all assume, or it's still to the day. I myself assume that the boyfriend has something to do with it, whatever stuff.
same. I'm not even kidding. When DeAndre told me what happened, I said he has something to do with.
Yeah,
There's no way that he's not involved. No way.
yeah,
If not, if not behind it completely with some kind of help, there's no way. Yeah, I thought the same exact thing. So at this point, this happens. They invite me to the funeral. I don't think that people really thought that I was gonna show up, to be honest. Because a couple people were like, "Oh wow, like you're here. We haven't seen you in 20 years." Like, you
yeah.
know, uh, it's crazy sometimes how a big thing like this can kind of bring people together in a sense because it was also a point where you and I kind of started a little bit on this reconciliation. And I'll be honest, there's still a lot of things that I have to work through, things that I have to, and yourself too, to before I could be like, oh yeah, we get along or we're friends even, you know. It's a lot of stuff. It's a long history. Um, but we share a kid, and I have other kids to influence, and I have other kids who may someday be parents, and they may go through a situation, and it's not really fair to just not try to not be angry. We literally can't change the past, and my hope is that the future continues to be progress for you in life, to where you continue to take accountability, you continue to try to grow as a person. I feel like you can do that. I mean, I've seen growth over the years myself, just really the past couple years. And I know this year has been it's been tense and intense, for you to say the least, between the arrest and the loss of your mom and everything like that. Um, I don't believe in now constantly beating people down for things that you can't change in the past. There's emotions that are always going to be there. Uh, Currently, I don't believe in kind of beating people down. It's one thing that I had to kind of learn with my own father. Uh, and part of it too is, I guess, just my own experience with my own father too. Like, I don't want for you to pass and DeAndre feel the way that I still kind of feel, like, I don't want that. So I'm glad that your reconciliation with him began when it began, so that that's not something he has to experience too. Um, yeah.
Um, scars, yeah, scars. Some scars never heal. Just it's always gonna be there. I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes the scars is there to remind you where you came from, so you have to keep those scars and stuff. But you have to learn and grow over the years over it. You can't necessarily have to forgive someone, but you have to give yourself also whatever.
And as unfortunate it is, like, it's one of these things that, well, if I could go back in the past, I would change how I handle certain things. As unfortunate as it is, I would have liked for him to not experience certain things. But there's also a more optimistic view on this, as to, well, certain things that I've experienced in life, he's experienced in life, to where if he gets older and he becomes a father, I damn sure don't think he's going to be absent. And because he's experienced what that absence feels like, and that experience is going to prevent him from making that same choice, if that makes sense.
Well, I want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you because, and I told him too, and I thank him too, because for him to be 23, no record, never been locked up, versus what's out here now, that's huge. That's a huge compliment. Thank you, and I'm proud of both of you. Proud of you raising him that way. I mean, I know it's tough and everything. Um, like I said, I experienced with my mom being a single parent and stuff, whatever. I mean, she dated, but it wasn't nobody consistent. But I
Yeah.
thank you. I'm proud of you. I mean, it was rough because you still had school, you finished school, you had ups and downs, but still, you're a hell of a mom. I mean, at the end of the day, you are a hell of a woman, and I thank you. I mean, like I said, damn, yeah, I wasn't damn there. It didn't work out, but still, you did your shit.
Hmm.
Shit got done. It didn't matter how your shit got damn done, but you made it damn way. And like I said, I thank your mom too for just let me have my freedom, and I wasn't and the father that I should have been, but it was a learning experience and stuff, and I'm still learning how to be a good dad. I can you can buy things, but love can't buy. Love you can't buy love. That's it.
Yeah.
You have to be there, and you have to vibe with that person, and just um you know just on a one-on-one level. no distraction, nothing like that, whatever. So I mean, trust me, I learned and I watched y'all over the years, and sometimes I like I ask him how you doing, and he'll tell me things, and he said, well, mom talking about you and stuff, but he's like, I ignore it. I said, I understand, I wasn't the best. And you know what? And the thing was, I wasn't mad about it. I was like, I understand. I mean, the anger go be there because a lot of things like you need to be a dad. You need to come over here and see your son. You need to come get your son. I need diapers for your son. We don't have this. It's a struggle.
Yeah.
Um, it unfortunately it took like years and stuff, whatever. Just like admit like you was right. I mean, I'm saying it now. Like here it is, 23 years later, saying you're right. I should have been there. I should have done this. I should have done that. And I mean, how much I would have changed or whatever, but don't know what the future holds. And I hope to have a better relationship with you and DeAndre or whatever, because y'all family. And I love my family. I mean, I don't have my mom, but I mean, I have people, in my circle and stuff, and I like to keep like positive vibes around my circle. I try to stay away from negative vibes. So that's why I get on like Facebook and I post positive things daily because I don't know what someone's going through and stuff because we have to help each other in life. Because if we don't, we go fail.
Yeah.
And you got to have helping hands. If you don't have helping hands, and you're gonna let your pride get to you. Your pride gonna end up there killing you and stuff, whatever.
Yeah. I think I'm glad that everything we've talked about today, we've talked about, like I said, 5, 10 years ago, this wouldn't have been a conversation that was had because I don't think that either one of us were in a place to have it. one of the questions someone asked is, why do this? What made you want to have this conversation? What made you want to do this interview and be on the podcast? And is it, if it's because you, is it because you're on a journey where you're ready to heal our relationship, heal your own personal things? Why do this interview? Why be on this podcast?
I don't know the time and date. We all don't know, but this is one of the things I wanted to do. And I mean, if it was, I mean, we can do the one-on-one, or I mean, on the podcast. I mean, it don't matter. But I wanted other people to also know, also, because a lot of people had questions, and I understand and I respect that. Um, I didn't want to leave this earth not letting people know what happened between us and how it came upon or whatever. Especially your mom and DeAndre. I mean, it's bits and pieces of it, and I'm glad that we had this general conversation. I knew it was gonna be an argument. I know we're both adults now and we're both mature now, so um, just had to get it out on the table. I think there was things that I should have told you and how I felt at the time being, because it was like we was in love back then, 23 years ago, and I made mistakes, and um, I felt like that I took the blame that you didn't really have enjoy your teenage life because I had got you pregnant and stuff, and everything stopped, and DeAndre was your main priority. Said it hurts, that I couldn't change none, or I couldn't been a better person back then. I wish this Fred lamp right here should have been Fred Lampkin back then, or whatever. That's what I meant to say, because I like the Fred Lampkin. I think everybody will accept this Fred Lampkin because I'm more understanding. I'm more knowledgeable. I'm open. I mean, a lot of things I wasn't open about back then that I should have been open about here recently. Because for a while, I ain't gonna lie, I did not tell a lot of people your age or whatever and stuff. And it would have bothered me, and they would embarrass me and stuff. And um, cause when I mean it was a lot going on back then, especially in the '90s and 2000s, early 2000s. So that's why I wanted to come on here, just to get it all out and process it. Cause I mean, even after this, I'm still processing things and stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
um, I don't know. It's just I wanted to get it out there. I really did. I mean, um, I hope whoever listening to this can forgive me. Um, I'm not proud of some things. I'm not proud of things I have said. I'm not proud of not being that dad that DeAndre needed back then. Cause there was that time in his life that he actually needed a father figure and stuff. Like, you can only give so much love, but need that need that father love also. So
Yeah, definitely. Without going back in time, what is one thing that you would change about your so I guess currently, what is one thing currently that you would change about your relationship with DeAndre and your relationship with myself?
Being a better father and spending more time with him, and helping him out wherever he needs. You never too old to need help. As far as you and I, um, develop a good friendship, strong friendship. I don't have no issues with you. Very grateful that you're in my life or whatever. You gave me a beautiful son. I know you got your, you got your family also and stuff, but you know, here and there we can have a general conversation. Maybe for like 5 or 10 minutes. And see how each other doing and stuff. And, just about the basic things, or whatever. And um, like moving forward, maybe getting out both our kids together and your husband and stuff, and we all go out, hang out and stuff. If that's all fine, you know.
That's a you know, my husband is very protective. I've known him really not too many, only a few years less than I've known you, really, because I met him in high school. Um, getting him, he's not even a fan of this conversation, just to be fully transparent. Um, you know, he's taken a lot of responsibility over the years, over even before we got married, throughout the years. Trying to put a positive male role model in primarily both DeAndre and Jada's lives. Um, as us being young adults, even just friends, you know, eh, if you're somebody who's listening and you don't really know much about my other children and their fathers, my 20-year-old has never met her father, not by my choice, but so her father's always been absent, and my current husband and my ex-husband really, but my current husband has over the years tried to show them a consistent male role model, whether it be as my friend or whatever. But I say all that to say he's very protective, and he is not in support of this conversation fully. So getting him on board it's probably gonna take a while. Hopefully, there was a point where you and D'Angelo, my ex-husband, where you guys were friendly. Y'all would like, play video games together online and stuff like that. So maybe one day that'll be a the case where my husband is at a cordial level, but he's super protective, and yeah, it'll probably be a while for that. There's this consistent factor. Your father wasn't consistent. My father wasn't consistent. My father had addictions. He also, come to find out later on in life, had mental health issues as well. He was diagnosed as bipolar, also had an addictive personality. He had issues with alcohol, and things. My choice in men and fathers of my children have had kind of that same pattern, this inconsistency, this, I was this teenager who was so the cliche looking for affection and whatever, and in the wrong places, if we're being realistic, because regardless, being sexually active at 13, 14 that's not a choice that a kid with good values makes. You know what I mean? Like, your father was inconsistent, and then there was this inconsistency pattern with yourself. mental health plays a component in that. Um, like I said, my father was diagnosed bipolar. He had addiction issues. Was there things in your father's life that you found out played a role in his inconsistency in you? And how did your own mental health play a role in your inconsistency as a father yourself?
My dad told me this year that he didn't come around much because my mom kept him away from us. I guess from protecting us or whatever. She felt like she was protecting us and stuff. Um, so respectfully, I guess he didn't come by. Um, yeah, I guess like he was just like me or whatever, you know. My mom fussing him, blah blah blah, and he didn't want to hear it. And, you know, he didn't want to fight or argue in front of us. I never seen my parents argue or whatever in my life, whatever. I mean, they got divorced when I was like 5 or 6, but I can remember like number good times, not really any bad times or whatever.
Yeah.
They were working and stuff. Even then, you know, moving forward from that, um, when they got together, they talking, just laugh, and all the other stuff. I'm like, well, you know, I never told them this, but I kept it in my heart. Um, I'm gonna keep it in my heart. Like, why I can do this like years ago, you know? You know, sitting out here laughing. And these are my parents. They sitting laughing. They like, you know, but
But I imagine that's how DeAndre feels, being realistic. Like, I imagine that's how he probably currently feels. Why couldn't this have been a thing years ago? Why couldn't this have been a thing when I was growing up, when I was little? You know?
yeah. Um, my parents never got diagnosed with anything. They were, I know they're just very hard workers and stuff. They constantly work, constantly paying the bills and stuff, and um, they constantly going to church. You know, to put God first. I'm pretty sure there's depression in there somewhere. Um, Especially when my mom had a hard time and stuff, and you know when we didn't have whatever, or the car broke down, we're in the middle of nowhere. But other than that, no, they're just fine people. I think, like I said, I think my mental thing is just not have my dad there, being alone. I feel like my older brother getting all the spotlight and getting all the love, and I wasn't really getting it. I wanted it. I mean, I wanted somebody to hug me. I wanted somebody to love me and stuff like that. But it was like my mom, she didn't play like pick sides or whatever stuff. But I feel like my dad, you know, picked my brother's side, and he was the golden child and this and that. Like growing up, not even for my dad, even for my family on both sides. Well, no, not both sides, but on my mom's side. It's like Leon's the golden child and stuff, and
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, so I'm not gonna talk to y'all and stuff and whatever. So people are like, okay, something's wrong with me. And no, like you fucking damn, you showed me how you want me to treat you and stuff, whatever. I don't want to go around and hear the shit about Leon this and them that. If you're not gonna treat me damn fair and stuff, I'm not gonna talk to you. I'm not gonna bring my kids around me. My kids feel uncomfortable around you and stuff. I'm not gonna damn do that.
Yeah.
So I didn't talk to yeah, I didn't talk to them. Now with, unfortunately my mom's death, I'm starting to talk to them. Now I told them all. I said I do talk. I said I just didn't want to talk back then.
Yeah.
So they know now. Just so the family them know and stuff, whatever. It's like it's crazy. Like I talk to my cousins, but like aunts and uncle and no. But it was it. Don't get me wrong though. There is some aunts and my uncles. They They talk to me, and I talk back, and I talk to them, have conversations and stuff, whatever. So
So for those people who don't know, so you and your brothers don't all have the same dad. Who
no,
who has different fathers?
Corey's Corey, he's a younger one. He have a different father. Me and Leon, we have the same father.
Okay.
So my mom got remarried. I was 13.
What was your what was your relationship like with your mom and your older brother before your mom got remarried?
My mom was there. My mom was like she was everything. She made sure we had things. Like I said, she never picked sides. She got on me for um taking up for Leon and stuff house. He was just trouble. He would go over this girl house, against the girl house and stuff, whatever. And I'd be going to the park and stuff, and he like, "Oh, meet me back here." And I'm like, "No, no." So, but um, yeah, me and my mom, we had a wonderful, growing up relationship. Um, it was there's a lot of things that I probably should have did with my mom that I'm regretting now. That I wish I could change and stuff, whatever, and um, things I should have accomplished while she was here on Earth. She pushed me a lot. Um, she never had doubts in me. She always said, "Oh, keep trying." Especially like with job too. She always should have told me like, don't worry," because I be in my feelings. She was like, don't worry. It's always another day. And that was her quote. And then my quote is like, it doesn't rain all the time. So, um, like the text message that I used to get was like, every morning from my mom. It's cause I guess she learned things that I had a special gift that I never share with people, like the inspiration stuff or whatever. It's just um like I wish somebody would told me some stuff back then that inspired me that I'm doing now to try to inspire people. That's why I try to reach out to people and stuff. And my mom, that's what she done for years before she got killed or whatever. So my mom and I, we learned a lot from each other for like past couple of years and stuff. And this is the special gift to interact with people.
Yeah. What was your clinical mental health diagnosis? This diagnosis that you received after all these years of this consistency in unhealthy choice making, strained relationships. You get to this point where your marriage has become toxic and kind of physical. Um, what was the diagnosis that you received, and how do you think that affected your previous life choices leading up to that point?
The It was mostly the depression because I felt like I was doing things. It wasn't. I felt like it wasn't 50-50 whatever stuff, and or we wasn't trying hard enough or whatever. I don't know. It was good sometimes. It's bad sometimes. Um, but she was like, okay, we go up here to this place. get you settled in. And we went up there, and I got to talk to the doctor, and I actually got to speak, how I felt and stuff, and so got me on my medicine for depression and stuff, and um, it wasn't. I mean, I seen a big difference. She seen a big difference. The kids seen a big difference. But like the 3 weeks that I didn't take it, it just went down shit hill and stuff, whatever.
Yeah.
And it was a point that I tested um myself that how would I be being off the medicine? Like I read the side effects, but I felt like I was like a zombie. I guess I felt like I was a lab rat for myself, and I wasn't myself, whatever.
Yeah.
So I didn't take it for like 3 weeks, and then the anger came back, and everything that just came back, and I was like, oh, this is not good, whatever. So when I was locked up, it was at 25%, and then they upped it up to 50%. I'm like, well, why are you upped up to 50% for? Because I'm not, this and that.
A lot of people don't realize that depression is a chemical thing. And while, you know, there are other treatments outside of medication, consistency is important in other treatments, therapy and things like that, but it's important in medication. Depression is a chemical thing in our brain, and just like any other chemical bodily issue, so to say, your treatment for those chemical things has to be consistent. Um, I know there was a point with my father where I feel like I've seen him medicated, I've seen him unmedicated, and you know, there's a difference. And medicated, as in physical medication and therapy, treatment, I guess, rather than medication, but consistent treatment is important. Can you tell a difference in, I mean, you kind of answered this question already, but a difference in your when you put priority into your mental health, how that affects your current relationships, and as opposed to when don't.
Here's the thing, and let's be dead up honest. A lot of people don't talk about mental health.
Hmm.
They feel like that it's a pity party, that you're in your feelings and stuff, whatever. And it makes me mad because it's out there. Nobody wants to sit there and talk about it.
Hmm.
Why? Like something's going on with this person. This person's not right, whatever. And that's what me. A lot of people they seen it, and people reached out to me because they used to see me doing this and that on Facebook versus like, oh, I'm angry, or I'm posting this and that, or I'm trying to get back at somebody. But it mellows me. It mellows. I mean, everything is fine when I'm on that medication. I'm like I said, um, it helps me with my development and my growth. I could think straight. Yeah, I could do a couple things I didn't think I could do or whatever. Um, like I enjoy reading. I have not enjoyed reading since middle school.
Yeah.
Like I can stand damn reading damn what's the name. I was locked up. I had a ball damn finding books to damn read or whatever stuff. It was shit. I'm like, damn. I'll be up like damn 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, damn reading the damn book, whatever. And it's like, okay, so but it it helps. And I recommend for anybody, not feeling that way to find somebody either who's been there and done it, which that's what I had, and I highly recommend that over somebody who has went to college and has read books and all the other bullshit. No, just somebody it come out better hearing it from somebody who's been there and done it. It's just like how we have in the conversation
Yeah.
because we a person who's involved in beyond your life, me being off and on and you being consistent, whatever, and people wanted to know and stuff. So it came out better hearing it from me than just hearing it from one side. Not saying that you was wrong for saying anything about me or whatever, but just the fact me coming on here, stating things and asking questions and getting it all out there on the table and stuff.
Yeah. 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 100%. I you mentioned kind of picking up reading in jail a minute ago. It's not funny, but it is because
It
I
it, it is
it,
kind of funny
it
because
is.
like you got a damn TV in there, and it's like they hell with the TV shit. Hell, you got a basketball court in there. Hell with them that shit. Grab a damn book and shoot.
Well, a lot of people don't know this, but I have been to jail as well, and I picked up the same kind of habit. It kind of like, if it does what it's supposed to, it can kind of like take you down a notch. It's like I have all this going on in life. I'm focusing on all these things that I shouldn't be. I'm getting into this trouble, whatever. I had an issue with alcohol. I had gotten a couple of DUIs and I'm in jail. And I'm just like, I don't have, like, I can't do shit else. Right. I started
Right.
reading books by TD Jakes. And I'm like, I enjoy, I don't know. It's kind of like life was just like, hey, sit the hell down and think, like, okay, you're in jail. What else do you have to do? Right? You don't have your friends, you don't have your influences, you don't have the alcohol, you don't have the things, right? Like you literally are forced to sit there and think. And I picked up my love of reading kind of there too, because, you know, but I'm a really social person. And when I was in jail, I did, make a couple friends, but that wasn't the place where I wanted to be a social butterfly. Like I'm
Right.
just in jail, like, oh, I just want to be here to hang out and mingle with everybody. No, I would actually just wanted to be in myself reading and trying to get my shit together because that's what you're there for, right? Like that's part of why you're there is to be isolated to the point you got to work out your shit. So I started laughing when you said that. Not that it was like a funny situation, but I was like, "Ugh, I can actually relate to that. I became a lover of reading in jail too. A lot of people don't know that I was in jail. I wasn't there for a long time. I'm not like this hardcore criminal, whatever. But like my kids make fun of me because they're like, okay, like you
So
were
yeah,
there for some
I'm
weekend.
gonna be there with thing. Mama had thug life and shit, whatever.
No,
West side.
I am not. I am not
The mom was a
16-year-old
thug.
R dog anymore. It's not.
The mom was hitting people on the head late night. She had a sip of the OE.
Oh my if I don't know about you, but if I could go back and meet like 16-year-old Rhea, I'd be like, what the hell are you doing? Can you please get your life together? Because you're gonna spend about 10 years of being a wreck. And like you could save a lot of people a lot of time. Just getting it together. Um so your mental health plays a part in these things. It's something I learned with my father. It's something I learned with you. It's something I've learned with my ex-husband. Your mental health plays a huge part in your relationships. Um, And for those of you who are going through mental health struggles and it's affecting your relationships, there's two things. Cater to it. It's important. Cater to it, not only for yourself, but for your future 23-year-old son, your grandchildren, it affects people. And as we know, you can't go back and change it. You can't go back and change it. Sometimes people die with the relationship unchanged. Sometimes people die with the relationship being a little bit better, but still some things that weren't great, and you don't want to leave it like that. You don't want to leave that relationship unresolved. You can't change the past. There's things I can't change the past, you can't change the past. But if you're somebody who's going through it right now, it's important to cater to, because you can change the future, and that starts with taking care of yourself. That's all of my questions. Is there anything else that you want to talk about, or that things that people have asked you over time that you want to make sure that you get answered in this?
I think I answer everything, and it's up to them. It's their mind, their soul, so how they react to this podcast. Now, I'm not gonna judge them or whatever,
Yeah.
but it's something that need to be out there. It shouldn't take long to be out there, but it'll be out there. I hope everybody have a learning experience about this or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we're here. Can't change the past, but you can work to do better in the future. And that is answering questions and working to do better is why we're here. So
Right.
I appreciate you being here. I'm glad that you asked me to come on and do this. And I'm glad that we are working toward being the people that we are, being able to have this conversation. And if you're listening and you still have questions, let me know, and maybe we'll come back later for more answers. If you want to let people know where they can find you on social media.
On Facebook at Fred Lampkin. On Instagram is Legend, LEGEND 704. Snapchat is Legend Lounge 21. If you have any questions or whatever, I'm freely to answer any questions. I'm open book.
All right. Well, thank you for being here, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right. You have a day.
You too. Bye.
Thank you for spending this time with us on Just the Who of Us. We hope today's conversation offered reflection, comfort, or a moment of clarity. If this episode resonated with you, feel free to share it with someone who may need it. Until next time, take care of yourself, and remember, you're not alone in the journey.